Can't stand it, I can't take it anymore, not anymore. No one said that this wouldn't get easy. No one said this wouldn't get hard. Brush it off and roll up your sleeves now. It's a shot in the dark till you get what you want.
Boom, welcome on back to Spike Sports College Football Show presented by Blank. We're waiting for sponsors. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? It's week 11 or 12. We don't really know. I am Johnny B. I am your host. I am 57, 35, and 1 on my gambling on units only go up. Not a big deal. I had a little bit of a bad week last week. Credit to me, but I can tell you honestly that I had a bad week. Some people are allowed to have bad weeks. Sam Hartman had a bad week. He's allowed to have a bad week. Alabama had a bad week. Listen, dynasties don't just die. We might lose by a point or two, but we don't die. We're still here. We're still way above 500. We're still making you money. But I'm not a liar. I'm not going to tell you I had a great week and I'm just going to make up numbers. No. I went 4-6 and took a fucking dive. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I got some big news coming. We're going to talk a little bit about college football. We're going to talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that. Drafts coming up. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. JC, tell us about your 8-point bucket shot.
Well, so I was supposed to be in Colorado, and the night before I left, my buddy gave me a call and told me that his wife ended up going to the hospital. So nixed the whole freaking Colorado trip and ended up just sticking around here doing some fun. I kept my days off from work, but it was 65, 70 degrees in New York in November. Nonsense. So anyway,
that's because you guys keep electing Democrats, but that's another month.
Dude, don't get me started on that crap.
We're not a politician show. Relax.
Nonsense. The shenanigans.
James, we're not politics. We're not politics.
Shenanigans. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on.
How's that? Talk about the deer, man.
He had 8 points, and he was really fucking heavy. Go to Outback Buck Shack Instagram. You can find out more.
Sorry, my voice, my allergies are fucking killing me. We have red tide right now. It's killing me down here. I hate it. We're getting another hurricane tomorrow.
Fuck Florida.
This is why I'm moving. This is why I'm moving to Morgantown, West Virginia in less than a month. Cannot wait. No more fucking hurricanes. No more fucking allergies. I cannot. We're just a bunch of hillbillies. And it's going to be a lot better for me. Tyler, what's going on? How was your week?
I mean, I did pretty good. It's like, I evidently did better than you. I went 6-10.
You suck.
I mean, fuck. Wow. That startled me, but I'm not very hopeful.
I did predict the big game. I did tell you that fucking Georgia was going to blow out Tennessee. Yeah. I did tell you that. And that's what happened. James, you were on the show last week, but I did say that was an obvious spot for them to win big. And to be honest, that game wasn't even that close. Tennessee Georgia kind of took their knife off of their throat and just let them kind of coast the rest of the game. Georgia could have won that game easily by 30 points, but they didn't. I was wrong about TCU losing. They will lose this week. Fuck TCU. Kentucky actually won a game. Congratulations, Will Levis. Your big win of the year is, you didn't even throw for 200 yards against Missouri, who should have beaten you if they even had a resemblance of a quarterback. You are fucking pathetic still. You're still a bunch of hillbilly, redneck, blue-lipped, cousin fucking, inbred losers. He's still not a first-round pick. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened last week. The games were okay. LSU over Bama. Everybody's going to hop on the Bama's dead train. I'm not going to be one of those guys. They lost 2 games by overtime, 1 game overtime in the Bayou on a 2-point conversion. The other, when a team is having the team of 40 years is having a run and you lose by a field goal that barely makes it over the upright. I'm not saying Alabama's dead. It's pretty funny how they're going to go 10-2 and they're going to be dead. I don't know. I think that was all the big games last week. Clemson, Notre Dame wasn't a big game because everybody knew Notre Dame was going to roll them. Everybody. I mean, even I knew that. It's just that Clemson's just not a team right now. That might be a team that's on the decline. They don't have anything going for them right now. And that's pretty much what happened last weekend, boys.
I don't have anything good. I mean, I kind of feel the same as you reading those games. I mean, I'm trying to look ahead at this point and looking through some of these. I'm looking just inside the top 10 and the schedules that they all have. And from, let's see, pretty much 1 through 8, they can walk the rest of their season. And it's going to come.
But the thing is, with those schedules, what you're saying is, number 1 has actually played a real team.
Right.
Number 2 has played a decent team. Number 3 hasn't played anybody. Number 4 has played an okay schedule.
Yeah.
Who is 5 right now? Oregon?
Tennessee,
then Oregon.
Tennessee has the best strength of schedule. I don't care what anybody analytics say. They have the best strength of schedule. Oregon has played 1 team, 2 teams, lost 1, won 1. To have USC over UCLA right now is mind-blowing because UCLA actually has a good win and they have an okay loss. USC has a okay loss, I guess, and then their best win is Oregon State.
Yeah.
So the only situation that we have coming up that would kind of scramble things is the OSU-Michigan matchup. And that's like the only matchup right now until we get into conference championship type games that, could mix the pot. But outside of that, I mean, TCU is going to lose this week, so we can kind of kick them to the back. I mean, I'm not.
And even if they don't lose this week, which they're going to lose, they're losing to
They
Baylor.
got Baylor.
I mean,
I was going to say then they got Baylor. So I think
they're
we
not
can
winning.
look to.
They're not winning both. They're not winning both of those games on the road. They're not.
And the Pac-12 is still to me like I'm not a big Pac-12 guy, but they're like the most interesting conference right now, as far as potential to get in to the playoff and who that's going to be.
Yeah, the ACC's out. The Big 12 is out. The Pac-12 is in. The Big 10 is in. The SEC has a team in.
It's almost like the freaking committee people are holding up USC for when they inevitably lose to Oregon, just so that it's a resume builder.
I think they're losing. Everybody keeps talking about this Oregon game. Guys, they're losing to UCLA. I don't care. Like, they're losing to UCLA.
And they have Notre Dame. They have Notre Dame after that.
Yeah.
So USC, like that's, I don't know. USC has the potential to kind of get railroaded, and Oregon.
I just don't. It's going to be UCLA and Oregon in the title game. I'm telling you that right now.
That would make it interesting.
And the only 2 teams that can make it are UCLA might not be able to make it the playoff even if they win out. I don't know. They might do Georgia. Guys, who's a better fit for the playoff? A 1-loss Michigan who hasn't beaten anybody but lost to Ohio State by 10, or UCLA that won the Pac-12? Because Tennessee's in and Georgia's in. I'm telling you that right. I don't care what happens. LSU's not beating them in the SEC title game, and neither is Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is going to lose this week. But Tennessee and Georgia I'm guaranteeing you those 2 teams are in. And the winner of Ohio State, Michigan is in, and it's going to be Ohio State. So do you take Michigan or do you take UCLA? Or do you take Oregon?
Well, I think it's going to.
If Oregon wins out, you got to say Oregon.
Yeah.
Well, if Oregon or UCLA win out, if Oregon and UCLA is the Pac-12, do you take the Pac-12 winner over Michigan?
Yeah, well, the Michigan, it's going to shake out with the Ohio State-Michigan game.
I'm
That's
saying
where we're
when Michigan. No, I'm saying when Michigan loses because they're going to.
Oh, when they lose.
Michigan's going to lose. Michigan's going to lose to Ohio State.
Because remember, they're playing us this week, and any team that's played us this season goes on a losing rampage. So,
Tyler, you do know that you guys are. I actually took you guys in my bets this week on Unit Something Up will come out tomorrow. You guys are getting 30.5 points.
Yes, I'm aware.
That's crazy.
And you know what's sad? It's increased. It was.
And all right, so that's my serious question.
Probably because isn't it your quarterback situation this week?
It's our third string quarterback this week.
I don't know.
But here's my question for you guys. I think Ohio State's beating Michigan.
Yeah.
Now, the winner of Oregon UCLA, which I think is going to be the rematch, do they go over Michigan in the 4th spot?
Yeah,
I think so.
Michigan just has a Penn State.
Now, what if Ohio State wins? Does Ohio State go? Or Michigan wins? Does Ohio State? Like, who do you take? Do you take Ohio State or do you take the Pac-12?
Ohio State.
I think Ohio State because they have the Notre Dame win.
Yeah.
But, like, how much credence do they actually hold on a Pac-12 conference title winner over a one-loss, non-title winning Big Ten team? I don't know. Michigan hasn't played anybody, so I think they're out. But I think Ohio State might have a little bit more of an argument. But I still think that you need to put weight on winning your conference.
Yeah, that's the thing that I don't think Tennessee will benefit from.
I think Tennessee is in unless LSU beats Georgia.
So one thought for the UCLA and the USC situation is them leaving the Pac-12. Does that play into committee members' thoughts at all?
No, because they don't really give a fuck where people are. They don't care.
For another year.
I don't know. I think. What do you think? Out of these teams, what do you think the best matchups would be right now? What teams would you want in your 4?
I said I wanted Georgia 1, Ohio State 2. If it pans out, they win the Big Ten championship game. If Oregon wins, I would put them at 3, and then if, depending on how you book it, maybe Tennessee at 4. So that way it gets fresh.
What I would want to see as a fan, I would want Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3.
Yep.
Because Ohio State, Tennessee, woo, ain't nobody playing defense. And then at number 4, I would put UCLA.
Yeah, you keep going up. Yeah, I know. You keep going back to UCLA. See,
I don't want to see them play Oregon again. I don't want to see them play Oregon again.
And that's another thing that you have to consider too, because even when I predicted it out, having Tennessee at 5 and Oregon at 6, it's like, which one-loss team to Georgia do you inevitably want to see again? Because it's bound to happen.
Well, and then too, do you put Tennessee? Well, so Tennessee or Oregon at 4, they've both played Georgia already. So you're talking about putting somebody at the 4 spot that's going to play Georgia for the second time.
So do you move Ohio State to 4 and let those two play each other at 2 and 3?
See, I don't think that's really right either.
The committee's that sort of fucker towards the end.
I think the most fair situation in that, if it's going to come down to a Tennessee Oregon of who plays them in the 1 and 4 game, is that it's Oregon, because Oregon had the shittier loss.
Oh, you definitely put Tennessee at 3 then, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get laughed off the field. They got dominated, but they didn't get laughed off the field.
But I also read on Twitter, somebody interviewed a committee person and said that, because they were approached with they asked the same question we're asking, is this like do you weigh the Georgia-Tennessee loss as a worse loss more than the Georgia-Oregon one? And he said that the committee views them both as very bad losses, no matter the point margin.
I think you could even make the case, too, though, that Oregon losing in the first game of the year, it's game one. Tennessee losing kind of mid-season. I don't know. You could read that a couple ways.
Yeah, but the Tennessee loss was on the road. So I don't know how they don't. The problem is they're supposed to have these guidelines, and we don't really know what their guidelines are. We do, but they never really. If that were the case, then certain teams wouldn't be ranked underneath them where they're ranked. Like Texas shouldn't be ranked. USC should not be ahead of UCLA. They don't. It's not consistent underneath. So how do we know how they're really ranking all of the teams?
Yeah, that was kind of how my gripe with it. It's just like the consistency of ranking below it isn't that consistent. If that were the case, because otherwise they're propping up what they hope to be conference champions, and I know they give the most favor to those conference championships, or they're supposed to.
And like, how do they have? I don't. They really think Ole Miss is better than UCLA. They really think Penn State's better than North Carolina. They really, I don't know. The problem is, if this was a 12-team playoff, Tennessee would be playing UCLA, awesome game. Oregon would be playing Ole Miss, awesome game. LSU would be playing Clemson, awesome game. And USC would be playing Alabama.
And that's what's so great about the 12-team playoff is you get certainty. There isn't this whole of who's going in what spot, what do they think the committee's going to do. It's just straightforward and on paper.
And then you remember these kids are 18, 19, 20 years old, so they're going to lose a game. They shouldn't have their whole season, like all their goals, because of one Saturday they don't show up. I mean, that's not how it works in any other sport.
Right.
No other sport's like that. Even in golf, you get 4 rounds. If you have one bad day, you can still go back. And you can still win the tournament. It's just, I guess in college is just a fickle bitch. Because in basketball, it's the same thing too. Which is cool for basketball, and it makes it exciting for basketball. Basketball's a different sport. I wouldn't want to see series in college basketball. But for college football, I don't know. I just think the 12-team playoff is a better way to do it because it makes it'll lessen the regular season. No, it won't. It will not. It's going to make it better because you'll be able to actually learn from your mistake and then go back out there and prove it on the field instead of just learning from your mistake and we're going to learn it next year. We'll get them next year. Like that's not. Alabama would be in the playoff right now. Do you think any team would want to play Alabama right now in a 12-team playoff?
Fuck no.
Because I would throw my entire life savings on the fact that Alabama would win. No one wants to see Alabama. Nobody wants to see Tennessee, who just came off a loss. You don't want to see those teams. Remember, hungry dogs run harder. You want to see the teams that have, like Oregon. Oregon has a loss, and they're looking on the outside. Have you seen the way they've been playing? Out of their mind. Michigan has just been drudging along, running their shitty-ass offense, barely beating fucking bad teams. And Ohio State, the Northwestern game, I'll give Ohio State a little bit of lenience on because 50-mile-an-hour winds is fucking crazy. You're not going to be able to throw the ball. That's ridiculous.
See, I was looking up some quarterback stats before we got on here, and C.J. Stroud's completion percentage for that game, like, if you watch it, it's just like poof. I was like, wait, what happened? I forgot they were playing in, just ridiculous wins.
And people were like, oh, they should hold that against them because they didn't run the ball. Like, dude, that wasn't their game plan. They still won by fucking 14 points. I know it's Northwestern, but they were playing in literally they were playing in a hurricane wind. Literally playing a football game in a hurricane. What do you want them to do?
Protect the damn ball.
And like I said, I don't know about you guys, but I just do not believe in the Michigan team. They cannot throw the ball. If you watched the first half of the Rutgers game, if Rutgers was even a top 50 team, they would have probably blown out Michigan in that game. Michigan can run the ball, and that's it. They got a punt blocked against them. I don't think they have the athletes on the outside to compete with the upper echelon team. So I don't know if I want Ohio State to beat Michigan or if I want Michigan to go to the playoff again and then get embarrassed again.
I want them to smoke us and then lose. Some way, shape, or form.
Who do they lose to? Illinois?
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
They still got to play Illinois.
Yeah, that's true, but
True.
and it'll actually be a decent win for them because they're at least in the top 15.
And did you guys see the Miami football is officially dead? They decided they just didn't want to get off actually roll out of bed and go to their stadium, which is 20 miles away, because they just let FSU fuck their girlfriends, their mothers, and their sisters all on the field. Miami is a fucking sham of a. They should quit football to save their legacy because they're embarrassing. Florida State is a good team, not a great team. And Mario Cristobal is terrible. Josh Gaddis is fucking pathetic. They should just quit football. They're not good. They're an embarrassment. And it pisses me off because I loved when they were great. I loved rooting for them. My uncle and aunt went there. The U is college football. I've drafted them in many things we've done drafts on. That was a fucking embarrassment. An embarrassment. They didn't want to tackle. They didn't want to block. They didn't want to catch. You're on your home field against that was when I was growing up. Florida State's playing Miami this week. All right, we're all going to sit down and watch this fucking game because this is the game. And Miami they don't seem to give a fuck. They are the Texas A&M of the ACC. They just don't give a fuck. They're all getting their NIL deals, and they don't give a fuck.
So there's an interesting dynamic there, and it makes you wonder about the culture situation in Miami. You know, the coach to player culture war out the gate. You know, him coming in and taking away the turnover chain and, trying to establish this culture of discipline.
He's not the Miami guy, man. Listen, Miami is swagger. And before the NILs, these players, they were getting paid in Miami anyway. But it was Miami. They get paid to go there. They wanted to go there, though. They're not recruiting the guys that want to go there and play for Miami. And when they do have those guys, they piss them off by taking away their swagger with the turnover chain because they were the first ones. And he's trying to be this disciplinarian. You don't have that kind of – okay, this is going to sound bad, but inmates running the – you have to let them dictate what's going on, the players. You have to – it's Miami. You have the best athletes in the world. You have to be a little more lenient. You can't just come in there with a dictator personality and expect they're going to respond to you. They're not. They're not going to. This isn't Army. This isn't Notre Dame. This is Miami.
If only Miami could have got their hands. If only they could have got their hands on Dion. That's the kind of coach they need. They need a Dion. They need Kirby Smart lets his guys go out and play. Nick Saban lets his guys. He has clout though, so he can pull the strings when he has to. But he lets his guys go out and play. So does Dabo. It's just Mario Cristobal doesn't have the clout with the kids to try to be a tough badass and expect them to respond the right way. Shit, it's not even working for Jimbo right now. His players are smoking weed before the game. This NIL deal,
it's great to get these great recruits, but you need to get. I'm not saying high character guys, but you got to get guys that. You got to get the majority of guys still want to play for the right here. If the U is here, if A&M is here, if Alabama's here, if Nebraska's here, you have to get the 75% of the guys that will still believe in that. You can't get. It's not a fucking create a team on Madden.
No.
You have to get the guys that when they were kids, they were watching Ray Lewis, or they were watching Jonathan Vilma, or they were watching Roscoe Parrish, or they were watching Andre Johnson, or those are the guys that want to play at the U, and they're losing that. And I'm sorry, I know this is usually Rob Simon on his diatribe about Miami, but it just aggravates me because that team should be unbelievably well. This NIL thing should be perfect for them, and they're fucking it up.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably make a case for even something we talked about earlier with the losses in certain teams, how like their seasons pretty much wrote off just after one or two. And you can see where the NIL situation and the situation with the structure into the playoff the way it is, why it's hard to keep players and keep them in a program. So, like, take this Miami situation. Guys are like, well, the season's over. I'm playing for me. I'm going to try and get mine. I'm going to get what I can out of it. I give a fuck what the coach is doing. Whether we win or not doesn't matter. I just need to show out the best I can because I'm just going to transfer. You know what I mean? Like, there's a really vicious cycle in college football right now that, I think everybody's trying to hold on to the image of the college football playoff and then the national championship and like the darlings of college football. But the reality of what's going on is Miami. Like, if you want to boil college football down, the heart of what's happening in college football is Miami. It's not Georgia, right? Georgia is playing out of their minds and they're going undefeated and they're probably going to win the national championship. And that's going to be the image that college football, the playoff committee wants. But what's actually happening in college football is Miami.
And A&M.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't know. I don't know how I feel or how you can even change it because it's not the player. I don't know what you do. Like in Miami, I don't know what you do. I don't know how you save it.
No, it's exactly what we've talked about in the past. It's the relegation system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like it allows the players to maintain their NIL, okay? But it maintains a system of competition that breeds like, well, Miami doesn't want to allow themselves to slip out of this top tier. You know what I mean? Like, I think that really is the answer as things
and you know what?
forward.
They should come up with a system like we did 3 years ago when we said relegation, which relegation has been getting thrown around. I don't know if you guys have heard. They're throwing around relegation now all over the media. I mean, we said it 2 years ago when we started this. But now they need to do something where they incentivize the NIL with the relegation. Like if you're in the top tier of the NIL, the NCAA or whoever's the governing body then, hey, they get more NIL money. Like they have a deal with Nike or Reebok or Adidas, and they pump in money for those 20 teams.
Yep.
And they're tiered, just like they are in the EPL. We talked about this. And they get a certain amount of money. So that makes ADs, coaches, and players all want to be in that top. And they're all pushing for that.
Mm-hmm.
So they get more money so you can keep their program. I just don't understand. Like in A&M too, they have all these recruits and they have no discipline because they have too many guys and everybody's out for just the quick money.
Well, it's kind of funny because like in my lineup for this week for our 3 Qs, it's a perfect quote for this what we're talking about around. You guys heard Mike Leach? You heard what he said about his players?
Which one, the fat little girlfriend one?
About wanting to sit behind a shade tree, eating a fish sandwich and drinking lemonade with her fat girlfriend or some crap like that. And how, he took all the folding chairs and he fucking folded them up and threw them. He's like, get off your asses and be a part of the team kind of thing. And everybody plays it off as like, oh, maybe it's like an old school mentality and he's an old school coach. Yeah, he's a hard-nosed coach. He's old school. But he's got a point, right? You're playing a team sport. You're out there and, just because you're not on the field doesn't mean that what's going on out there doesn't matter. And it's really easy right now for guys to go sit on a bench and kind of forget that. And I think in college football in particular, we can't lose that. I mean, that's.
Well, you want to know why teams like Tennessee are playing so well this year? Because they have a lot of old veteran players that were not. Hendon Hooker wasn't. He was like a 4-star. They're not the top of the top. So I think in the next couple of years, it's going to be the teams. Look at Bo Nix. Everybody put him down. Put him down. Put him down. I think it's going to be the guys that work their balls off, that are coachable, still have to have an immense amount of talent. Don't get me fucking wrong. Mm-hmm. But they have to have that want to be, those are the kind of guys you have to recruit. And that's why I think you're going to see teams pop up shit. I mean, Kansas State was good for a little bit. I don't know. There's no one really this year that's going to do it. But I think you're going to see it soon, where teams are going to start popping up, and more upsets are going to occur. Middle Tennessee State beat Miami. How the fuck does that happen? I mean, well, they're an older team than them. They're not a good team. But, they're playing a bunch of freshmen, and they're playing a bunch of seniors. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to start fucking happening more and more and more and more, especially with the transfers. And the depth isn't there for every team anymore. I mean, the depth's going to always be there for the Georgias and the Alabamas, because that's just what's going to happen. But, if you want to go play third string at Miami, or you can go start for Tulane. Tulane's a good program. You're going to go start for Tulane because guess what? College football now, everybody's on TV. Everybody gets scouted, and everybody's going to get money. So there's going to be a more spread out. And it's really going to fall down on who is the best coaches. Those are the guys who are going to win.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Adaptable, too. Adaptable coaches.
Tyler, you've been pretty quiet about this.
I'm going to be going through it here whenever we decide on a hire. And, I've been analyzing the whole, who's, doing coaching turnarounds in their 1, 2, and 3 year programs. And I know we hate on Brian Kelly, but Brian Kelly probably has the best less than 1 year turnaround down there. And
we made fun of his southern accent, but you know what? You know what he did? Do I know what he did? He adapted to their culture. He put fucking work in, and he won a big game. And he showed that he fucking gave a fuck. And you want to know what that does for a fan base and a team? That he has a job now for 5 years because of that one game.
That silly fucking dance he did, it made a big difference with his players. We could all sit there and laugh all we want to, but in the locker room, it made a difference.
His players already love him.
And everybody loves Lance Leipold, what he's done in Kansas, because he went 3-9 last year, and they're now going bowling. Nebraska's the only Power 5 school that hasn't gone bowling since 2017.
Now, does anybody love Mario Cristobal? No. Does anybody love the Florida head coach? No. Mike Norvell, not very well loved. Pat Narduzzi and Pitt, not really well loved. They need to learn how to be. You can be a hard-nosed dictator. You can do it. I'm not trying to take that away. You can do that, but you have to have the credibility, and you need to win. Jimbo Fisher does not have credibility because he's an 8-4 coach. Nick Saban can yell at whoever he wants, spit in my face, and put a foot up my kid's ass. You want to know? Because he has 7 national championships. Mm-hmm. Dabo Swinney can do the same thing because he's had 2. You can do that when you have these guys, these coaches, these older coaches need to adapt and realize that they're dealing in a whole new era. And you can still be tough. Look at Deion. Have you ever seen Deion's speeches?
Oh, I
He's
love
tough as shit on him. But he talks to players like players talk to players.
They know he cares. They know it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
You can, as a player, and this is like a leadership thing just in general, you can tell when a person who's in charge of you, responsible for you, when they really care, when the things that they're saying, it could be just the harshest truth, but you know that's coming from a real place. Because it's one thing to
It's not
belittle
fake.
people, right? Like you can belittle a poor performance, right? You can tell people they did a shitty job, right? And just kind of belittle them. But there's a way to do it where you elevate the person out of that, where you let them know, like, hey man, you fucked up and it's on you. But rather than just going like this to them, you're raising, and that's what Dion does so well. He can take and he can point out your flaw, he can point out your mess up, but he can just kind of scoop you up and say, "Come on, like we're gonna make this better," you know.
They need more coaches like that. I don't know. Like Lane Kiffin's the same kind of coach. Lane Kiffin is great with his players.
the 21st century coach. Even though his girlfriend's probably making him do interactive things on Twitter, it slaps. It's
Lincoln Riley, same way. Lincoln Riley, players coach. I don't know. Dude, my allergies are killing me right now.
Well, somebody, Don checks in.
Don.
He's at the casino right now. So
Bowling Green.
Under 55.5.
The best pick of the week is Wake Forest -3.5 over North Carolina. Wake Forest bounce back. North Carolina, not a good defense. That game, and take the over. I think the over is 70. That game is going to be 53-40 easily. No defense.
You know, I noticed without Rob here, we don't have our script. We're not hitting the marks the way he keeps us on them.
And I am my allergies are kicking my ass right now, fellas. So I am right here. I just took a nice little
days. Oh man,
so we got 20 minutes to do picks in the draft.
I was gonna say, why don't we? Let's jump into our picks so that way we get that done. Let's
you guys
do that.
Dad.
All right.
Go ahead, JC.
I go first. All right, cool. So my everything from here on out for me, there's theme to this week. So we had Election Day and we have Veterans Day this week. So for me, my lock is going to be Notre Dame over Navy. And then for my upset, it's going to be Army over Troy. And just an interesting thing for that game too, they're playing at Troy and it's Veteran Memorial Stadium. So just kind of, yeah.
At least throw something else into the Memorial Stadium. Memorial Stadium. There's at least significance there.
All right, my lock of the week. I don't like anybody this week.
I know it was tough. It was hard digging in and trying to find something.
Oh God, yeah.
Notre Dame Navy, that was an easy one.
I'm taking Florida State over Syracuse because, like I told you, James, a couple weeks ago, how they're going to lose out.
Frauds.
Well, I've been right three straight weeks. And my upset, Iowa State over Oklahoma State.
That one slaps. Well, my lock, I'm going Michigan because it's going to be a lock. Like, the only bet I have that I placed in my book, because you know that you can win first half or you win the whole game if you pick who wins each half and then wins their whole game. That's like 2-to-1 odds. So I picked. The only thing I picked is Nebraska wins the first half, Michigan wins the whole game. That's it. That's all I've done. And my upset. We're gonna go. I'll go UCF over Tulane.
There you go. UCF's on a good run right now.
That's going to be an interesting game.
It's
going
like
to come down to the quarterback play.
It's like the only one where there's actually 2 ranked teams in it for once.
All right, guys, let's get into the draft because I am.
You're shot, bro. You're fading.
He's fading hard.
All right, I'm going first.
Should we explain the draft? Explain the draft.
Politicians that have played college football.
So yeah, it's in honor of Election Day and Veterans Day this week. So it's a politician, political figure, or college athlete known to be veteran. Football figures that either served in the military or took and served in political office.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
He won 2 national championships at Michigan.
This motherfucker.
And he was the president of the United States.
This motherfucker.
And he's probably slung more dong than anybody. I'm taking Gerald R. Ford.
This fucking
President
guy.
of the United States and 2-time national champion. Played both ways at center and linebacker for the Michigan Wolverines. Gerald R. Ford, President of the United States.
And served in the Navy.
I had the only president that has ever won 2 national titles.
Yep, that's a good pick. That's a good one.
That's like the great one.
That's the only number. Guys, that's the only 1-1 overall pick. Like, there's nobody else.
No, there's some good first rounders.
No, he's the only he first rounders, but he is the overall 1-1. He won 2 national titles.
For his football career. For his football career.
And he was a president.
Yeah.
Navy.
Because of Watergate.
And fucked bitches. Yeah. No. That means he had a little bad boy in him because he knew exactly what was going on.
He was the only president to never be elected.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
So to have taken office and then to not be reelected.
Yeah, because he's badass because he didn't want to do it anymore.
All right. Go ahead, TA. I'll take the turnaround.
We'll go Craig James. Ran in Texas. And ran again after his 2-year stint, failed.
Okay.
And yes, I'm talking about the ESPN.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So I'm gonna get some solid picks here. This is gonna be nice. So I'm gonna pick Dwight Eisenhower.
Damn.
Never heard of him.
West Point. Damn good as far as like leadership mindset. Like he had it. And pretty damn good football player too. And then on my turn, so keep in mind this is political figures or military service. I am taking Roger Staubach. Navy. Served in the Navy in Vietnam, and then went on to become a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he's pretty badass. Never beat Notre Dame, though.
All right, TA.
Oh, man, you left me because I forgot about the military aspect because I totally wouldn't want to take Pat Tillman in this spot right now.
You can do it, but if you do, I'm gonna be real upset because that's my dude.
No, okay.
You can take him. No, you can take him. That's a good thing.
Switch it up. Go with Dick Buckus instead. Okay.
Okay.
Dick Buckus.
Okay. That's another good one.
He holds up that Wikipedia page for Pat Tillman.
Hey, Johnny, he's just gonna take him now. I mean, you let it go, Johnny. He's
What-
like, "Oh, fuck
what
him, I'm gonna take it."
Was Dick Buckus in the military? I mean, was he a politician?
He played college football at Navy, and was in the military before he actually started his pro career.
Nice.
So it's almost like a Mormon style type thing, where you go away for 2 years and then boom, you start college.
Man, that's the tough thing about that, like playing with Navy. There's some players that have lost it because they had to do their time in service. Some really good players.
But a lot of them now, they like the kid from Detroit, they'll let him be recruiter on the days off.
Right, they're trying to make it work, but I mean, there's been some guys that missed out.
All right, my pick, because I don't really give a fuck what he says. I mean, the man was beautiful. He served his country. After 9/11, he wanted to serve with a purpose. Joined the United States Army. Was in the 2nd Ranger Battalion. It's Pat fucking Tillman, Arizona State, Arizona Cardinals. I mean, the man had great college numbers. He went to Arizona State, so I'm just going to make a general statement. He fucked hoes because he went to Arizona State. And I don't know if you've ever been to Arizona State, but that's all the dumb California bitches that can't get into a real school. He was pretty on the football team. And then he died serving his country. Pat Tillman, shout out to him. JC, pour one up and drink one for him. There you go.
I am. So Pat Tillman is my dude. And if you ever get a chance, read Where Men Win Glory. It's a pretty fantastic book. Pat Tillman, Johnny B, like the assumptions about ASU. He was a man. He was a real fucking man.
He left the NFL to go serve his country after September 11th.
Yeah, I mean he's a giant that walked this earth. It's pretty incredible that people like him exist. So
he has to be drafted. So I drafted him. My last pick is Heath Schuler, quarterback, Tennessee, and then 2-time North Carolina Democratic representative. Unbelievable good quarterback. Played for the Washington Redskins. Great quarterback in college. And right now I have the center, the linebacker. I had the safety, so I had to draft a quarterback. So I'm going to go with Heath Schuler. He played for the Washington Commanders in the NFL afterwards. It's not his fault. He was a Democrat. No one's perfect. And, that's who I'm going to go with. He was there right before Manning got there. I think he was 2 quarterbacks before Manning.
Can we do coaches? Is that valid? Or
yeah.
You can pick Tom Osborne.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick Tom Osborne. I'm going to pick somebody more recent than 2001. Thank you for instead of Tom Osborne with his U.S. representative run. We'll go with the disgraced ex-Auburn coach / now former senator of Alabama,
Tuberville? Tommy Tuberville. Great pick. Is he the governor or the senator?
He was the senator until this past election, and he didn't even run again.
Good for him.
There's some big names that are still out there.
Oh, I know. I'm aware.
Boy, there's some really big ones. So
This is great radio.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna take a pick here. I've got a couple of guys here that are more modern era. But but have some really great stories. And one of the guys that has one of the most incredible stories is Daniel Rodriguez. So he was a receiver at Clemson.
Yeah.
He was at Combat Outpost Keating. If you see the movie The Outpost, that was about that battle. Incredible story.
Never heard of it, so now I will check it out.
Yeah, you want to talk about a situation about drive and determination to so I kind of have this saying that like for those that died, I will live a life worthy of their sacrifice, and he's done that. He had some buddies that he talked to like while they were deployed, and he would talk about how he had this dream about playing football, and one of his buddies was pushing him like, "Oh man, you should do it, you should do it," and that guy died in that battle, and so he's got a really incredible story, and I want to kind of give a shout out in this draft. So he played at Clemson. The Rams even gave him a shot. He played in the preseason. So if you haven't checked it out, check out Daniel Rodriguez's story. I think he's got a book also, and the movie The Outpost. Pretty incredible stuff.
I'll check that out.
It's really good. I liked it.
I would like to give a shout out for someone who wasn't drafted and should have been. Alejandro Villanueva.
That's a good one.
Pittsburgh Steelers left tackle. 6'9" Army Ranger. Okay.
Yep.
When you think of G.I. Joe, he's 6'9" and was a captain as an Army Ranger. And he played in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a bad dude. And he started his career as I think they actually started him at wide receiver, moved to tight end, moved to line. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one too.
But he has a lot of medal. He got a bunch of medals over in Afghanistan, and he was just kind of a badass. And he was during the whole kneeling thing. He pretty much told everybody to go fuck themselves.
Even when they were all like not coming out for the national anthem,
he would go out by himself.
He even got permission. It was all like, "I'm going to go out for the national anthem," and then they were like, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean,
tell him
I
no.
like him.
Tell him no.
Yeah, tell the 6'9" former Army Ranger that you can't go listen to the Star Spangled Banner. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
No matter what your political affiliations or what you feel, go ahead, Roger. Go tell the 6'9" Army Ranger you can't do that.
Yeah. Let's see how big. Let's see how big your nuts are when you're faced with that situation.
When he was approached about that conversation, Tom was all like, "Okay, all right, well, you go."
JC, who else did we miss?
Man, well, there's a number of guys that served, like, you're talking World War I, World War II era. I wish I could think of the guy's name. I played at Hartwick College. We actually had one of the only guy drafted from Hartwick College was actually a World War II veteran. I want to say he was drafted by the Eagles. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that. I mean, hell, when you think about World War I, World War II era, Vietnam era too, I mean, shit, everybody was fucking going. So, there's probably a lot of other people out there that played some football or had some kind of political affiliations, but I would say we hit the big time names. I think we hit pretty much most of them.
I mean, I got a fucking president, 2-time national champion, who also served in the Navy.
So he's a really great pick when it comes to college, like the football aspect of it. It's just so interesting, like his political career.
Wait,
like
we missed Ronald Reagan,
Yeah.
USC running back. People forget.
John F. Kennedy apparently played for the Harvard JV team.
Did he really?
Never made it up to did we lose TA? Did you guys lose me?
I'm still here.
Sound check.
I'm
Can you
here.
hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. So I think it's TA. Yeah, we lost TA.
All right, well, that's our Spike College football show. I am Johnny B. Units only go up, 57-35-1. Sorry, it's a little down today. Allergies kicking my ass. Moving to Morgantown, West Virginia. We'll have Units only go out come out tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And JC, go ahead.
Outback Buck Shack. Go check out the Instagram and YouTube. We lost TA. Damn. Yeah, tough week, man. Lost TA there at the end, missing Rob. Hopefully this week's action in college football doesn't disappoint. The schedule doesn't look like it's going to give us too many upsets or anything real good to talk about, but we're getting
those usually turn out to be the best weeks.
Yeah, it's kind of like that anything could happen type of deal. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, and I guess we'll catch everybody next week. We'll try and get Rob and TA back. There he is. There he is.
We just did our sign-offs.
Oh, so I'll end it now?
What's your turn? Good timing. I was just wrapping mine up.
Iron Ostrich Network. That thing right there. That thing over JC's shoulder. We got Off the Rails, Tone and Gems. We got Realizations. We got my show, The Anomalies. We got this show. We got Units tomorrow. Go like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to those feeds.
And I would like to apologize that the energy was not here for me today. Listen, moving, baby, allergies, red tide, hurricane. No excuses, but I'm just saying. No excuses, but again, I'm just saying. Love you guys. Thanks for checking us out. We will come back with more fire, more heat. Look at my little fucking nugget right there, just rocking away, just chilling. We got all Nike'd out. Love you guys. Be good. I am fucked up on Michael right now.
We gotta get some interactions on this draft. Let's see what else is out there.
So, throw your arm up and let's actually sign up for one.
Let's do it.
Keep it spiked.